Bill hooks on Princess Diana.
Did you know that mass media is so good at getting the poor and working class people to identify with the rich that they even sold Princess Diana and her death as a rags to riches story? Now, I live in Northampton and I live in the county where she's from. Girlfriend ain't poor and come from a poor family. And so she writes in Where We Stand in Being Rich. Television is not the only mass media selling the notion that identification with the rich and powerful is the only way to get ahead in this society. Magazines and newspapers exploit the fascination underprivileged people have for the lives of the rich and the famous. No recent event in the nation's history dramatized as graphically the extent to which a mass audience of people identify with the rich as much as public reaction to Princess Diana's tragic death. Of course, national fixation with her life and her fate was rarely talked about in mass media as tied to an obsession with class hierarchy. You know, that she literally she literally lived the fairy tale. You know, she became a fairy tale princess. She married up. Okay? So they found this fascinating. It was easier to portray public fascination and grief for Princess Diana as tied to the fact that she was not from a ruling class background. Of course, the fact that she was from an upper class background was obscured and hers became a rags to riches story. Just go to Althorpe. Such stories capture the imagination of an American public that does not want to let go of the myth of a classless society where all can rise. By identifying with Princess Diana, they could not only reaffirm the rags to riches fantasy, but indulge their fantasies of being rich and famous. Despite Diana's tragic fate, the notion that wealth and privilege bring happiness continues to dominate the consciousness of many people, especially the poor and working class. Public narratives where individual rich people share the tragic elements of their lives do nothing to change public opinion that wealth brings happiness. Money can buy you love, and that this is sold to us wholeheartedly, hook, line, and sinker from newspapers, magazines, and social media, that there is something to buy that can resolve that obsession, that longing that you have. I'm sorry that my generation just really dove in, not least of which is that those iconic obsession commercials, those advertisements of Obsession Cologne from the 90s and Eternity, just Calvin Klein, just the aura of Calvin Klein and Kate Moss and Marky Mark. That just points to a kind of anyone can have it all as long as you can go to the mall and slide your card, sign your name, and get something. Cross my heart. Hope to die rich.